If Scott Cannon isn't responsible for that triple murder in Salem back in 1998, who is? The victim's father was left without answers until he got a phone call. Tim Becker tracked down the voice on that phone.
And all of mine and Jason's dealings for the months we were dealing, Scott Cannon's name, a guy named Scott, never once came up.
That voice on the phone.
I got a phone call. Weird.
Is the same one Tom Osborne heard just a few years ago, telling Tom he had information about the murders.
He said, I was in prison at the time that this happened. He said, I was a meth dealer in Salem.
It's been on my mind almost every day for the last 3 years.
The caller, who says he's been clean for 14 years, told us how he was mentoring one of the victims, Jason Kinser, in the meth business, and how one night he backed up Kinser on a visit to a house in West Salem.
And then the very next day, Jason and them were dead. But Jason was worried about where he was taking me because he came to my house, he had to go see this guy, and he specifically asked me to bring my weapons. And I did.
He watched Jason and another man outside the house get into a heated discussion.
He never told me what it was about, but I believe it was that piss yellow dope he was selling.
Both court documents and the caller say Jason Kinser was selling bad meth. In a sworn affidavit filed with the court, a woman told investigators that Kinser was a friend and drug associate of her then boyfriend, Thomas McMahon. She says McMahon called her the morning after the murders to say he knew Jason and Suzan were dead before there was any press coverage. He went on to say, "You should have seen the look on Suzan's face." Also, during his interrogation in 1998, Scott Cannon, the man who says he was wrongly convicted in the case, told police he'd seen a Hispanic-looking man in the trailer the day of the murders, having some sort of conflict with Jason Kinser. Years later, Cannon picked McMahon out of a photo lineup, saying he's who was at the trailer that day. And the caller says when he saw McMahon's picture after Scott Cannon's release in 2009, it took him back to that house in West Salem, where Kinser was in a heated argument with someone.
I truly, in my heart, believe it was that McMahon character.
But the Polk County DA wouldn't tell me if McMahon is now on their radar.
Should evidence arise that leads us to find additional suspects, we consider them.
What about some of the evidence that has arisen?
I'm not going to speak to specific evidence.
Which means he also wouldn't talk about Bimla Boyd. Remember her? She's that top witness for the prosecution of Scott Cannon.
I could tell you things about Bimla Boyd that'd make your hair stand up.
Go ahead.
The woman's a witch. I'm sorry, that woman is a witch.
Boyd was Jason Kinser's landlord. She was later convicted of manslaughter for shooting a caretaker that moved into the same trailer where Kinser and his girlfriend were killed.
Convict somebody. Whoever did it. Find out who in the hell did it.
We, too, want justice done, so that's why we're carefully reviewing it.
If and when the district attorney decide to move forward in the triple murder case,
Those people did not deserve what they got at all. At all.
the man on the phone, whose identity we're now protecting, says he'll come forward and testify if need be.
I have nightmares that just...
Anything, he says, to help Tom Osborne sleep better again. In Polk County, Tim Becker, KOIN 6 News.
And a footnote to Tim's story here. Both Tom McMahon and Bimla Boyd are in prison right now on unrelated crimes. McMahon on a drug conviction, Boyd for fraud.